Yes, good morning. Good morning. It seems so much darker right now. I guess that's because of the conditions outside. Welcome back from your spring break. I hope everybody, as much as possible, could enjoy some downtime. For me, it's been a little bit stressful. I mean, in actuality, our spring break came at the exact wrong time because you might recall on April the 3rd, the College Board came down with all the changes. And see, that's all the changes that they came up with. And, I only went over a part of them and briefly, and perhaps you have been thinking about them, perhaps you haven't been thinking about them. I have been thinking about them a great deal. Um, and yeah, it's really a curve. We're getting thrown a curve, and yes, we can sit around and feel sorry for ourselves, which, to be honest, I do. I think that we got rooked but everybody has. I mean, it's the coronavirus has thrown everybody a curve, but by the same token, this test that we've been talking about all year is now it's been altered, shortened a great deal, obviously, but also they've changed the scoring mechanism. So once again, to quickly review, the AP Euro exam will take place on May the 13th. That's a month from today. May the 13th. It begins at 4 o'clock and it is online. Now, you can log in for that test as early as 3:30, which I recommend you do. They will give you 5 minutes to download the test, and then 45 minutes to take the test. That continued beeping you hear is another thing that I wanted to address, and that is I'm finding out that for some reason more and more of my emails are getting rejected. And so what I'm going to do after you hear that, what I'm going to do is after I finish talking to you, I'm going to cut and paste what I sent to you via email this morning, place it on Canvas where you can have access to it. Yeah, that sound is very disturbing to me. Yeah, that's not fun. But anyway, getting back to the format of the test, the test is 1 DBQ, and you are given, the DBQ has 5 documents, and you're given, after your download, you're given 45 minutes in which to take the DBQ. Now, you may be asking, and see, this is new information I just learned. You may be asking, well, since I'm taking it online, does that mean that I have to type the response? Well, that's up to you. You can either type it or you can, if you are it's up to you. If you are a fast typer, as you know, when I was in high school, I was not a good typist, but now I can type like the wind blows. But if you prefer to write it, you can handwrite it on a piece of paper like this. And but then you have to take a photo with your phone and then submit that. That's going to drive me nuts, and I don't think anybody's getting my emails. And so, yeah, you can submit it as a photo with your phone uh, back to the college board. Okay. Oh, yes, I went out of order. The bigger announcement, it's really not bigger, but it's just important. The College Board has offered, for the first time that I can remember, the College Board has offered you, the right to opt out of the test. You don't have to take it. Now, of course, you won't get credit or the chance of credit, but you don't have to take it. And if you want your money back, you can have it. The thing is, I have to know. Miss Coleman, the day we left for spring break, sent out this email to all of us AP teachers saying that if you want to opt out of the test, that you have to tell me and I compile a list, and then I will give the list to Miss Coleman, and she will then make arrangements to send your $94 back to you. And that is totally within your right. You can, I mean, as far as this class goes, you're still required to do the things for this class. But as far as taking the AP exam, you don't have to do that. And while we're talking about taking this class, hopefully you looked on Canvas and noticed that you have a test Friday. It's a review test. It's of the entire year. There are 100 questions on it, and they're not questions from the take-home test. They are questions from the notes, questions that I have come up with. Can you study for that test? Well, you probably should start, just scanning over notes, scanning over terms, and we're going to have more of these tests as we progress, as we keep moving closer and closer to the AP exams. Now, the test is 55 minutes. You have 55 minutes. 55 minutes to take the test, and it's Friday from 7 in the morning till 11:59 at night. Let me forewarn you. I learn a little bit more about Canvas all the time, and I've learned that there are several devices that I can use to make sure that you cannot share information from the test. And so, aside from the time limit. And so, yeah, I made a few changes in the format of the test, meaning, it's still 26 matching questions. It's still, the rest of it is multiple choice questions, a few true or false questions, but not many. But there are 100 of them, and you have 55 minutes to take them. And, you might say, well, that's a short amount of time. Remember, guys, the AP exam is set against a time limit. And 55 minutes, I don't think, is really for 100 questions, particularly 100 review questions, that particularly demanding. When I think about, what our other tests were like during the year, we would have 50 minutes, and, time was really never a factor for people taking those tests. So you have 55 minutes to take a test of 100 questions. And it's a review test, and it's only worth 100 points, 1 point apiece. And so, yeah, that's where we are with that. Okay. Having said that, let's get back to this discussion of the AP exam. Here's the thing. I was bombarded with so much information and went around and dug up so much information. And I hate to say it, I consulted Tom Ritchie. And if you want to on your own, Tom Ritchie it's amazing what that guy has put together, all these videos that he does give away for free. His review, and I'm going to send you the URL. Canvas as well. His is an hour long. It's not nearly as succinct and well done as I think as his other ones, but yeah, it's an hour long. And he discusses the wheres and the why fors, and but you should look at it. You should look at it. His review talks about, he breaks it down in talking about, once again, in the new DBQ format, there is 1 point for the context. He breaks it down another point for writing a good thesis. Now, the change comes when you get to the 5 documents. You can now garner, by using the 5 documents properly, a total of 5 points in this new rubric. So that takes us to 7. Then you can get up to 2 points for relevant outside information. That's 9 points. And then your 10th point is complexity. Again. And so how will it break down? Well, once again, all this is conjecture on the part of Tom Ritchie and me and anybody else. To be honest, the College Board doesn't even know how many points out of the 10 it will take to get a 5, a 4, and a 3 passing grades on the AP Euro exam. They will basically, what will happen is, after the reading, the College Board will sit down and look at the scores, and then they will divide up. But, if I was a betting person, 2 things about this AP Euro exam. One, the AP Euro exam, do you remember the Bismarck DBQ we did right before we got thrown out of school by the coronavirus? You remember that one? The Bismarck DBQ, where the whole question was about Bismarck. In my estimation, in my guesstimation, in my belief, as well as the belief, I haven't had anybody get on the AP website and say, no, I think this is different. But in my guesstimation, and this makes sense, that if the test is going to be comprised of 1 DBQ, you're not going to see a Bismarck type DBQ. You're not going to see a question about one particular thing. I mean, because the Bismarck DBQ, if you really think about it, only covered, 40 years out of the entire era we've been studying. No, I believe that the DBQ subject matter will encompass a theme that covers several centuries. Like what? Let's see. Women, the role of women. The role of the economy, industrialization, nationalism, imperialism, the role of the Roman Catholic Church, how it changed over the years. They might even throw in something in there about knowledge about, make it apropos, knowledge about various health concerns. For example, beginning with the health standards conditions of the era of the Renaissance, spread of diseases. For example, the smallpox that was exported from Europe during the Age of Exploration versus the outbreaks of tuberculosis and cholera that swept across the crowded industrial cities of Europe in the 1800s, in the 1800s during the Industrial Revolution. Something like that. And so, yeah, I think that the subject matter is going to be something that spans a long period of time, not, Bismarck or, something of that nature. And now I forgot my second point. The second thing, I wish I could rewind and see what I was talking about at the time, because I'm sure I'll get back to it. And so, yeah, that's one big difference in the exam. I can't believe my train of thought just ran up against a wall. But no, trust me, we'll be getting back to it. And so going forward, what is this class going to look like until May the 13th? Well, it's going to be comprised of two things. We will talk about how to prepare this DBQ. We'll break down the rubric going forward. And also we'll review content, beginning with the Renaissance. And yeah, over last week, I went back and I pulled up, and in fact, now you can go on Canvas. If you've lost any of my study guides up to this very point, they are on Canvas. So they're there. So you can do that. And I will talk about eras, me to you on camera. And I will also be sending you some of Uncle Tom's videos. And you know what? Sitting there listening to Tom prattle on, it's encouraging to me to sit there and listen to him, because I hear him and the guy is good. He's very intelligent. He's an excellent teacher. But it's encouraging to me because he goes over the same thing we have. He goes over the same thing we have. He goes through it fast, but that's okay. And so, we will go over that. And I'll be sending you Tom Ritchie videos of his lectures with his cup of whatever he's drinking and his stupid Clemson Tiger behind him. I need a drink. I run out of my Coke Zero. Not here, I've got more. And so, yeah, and that's what the class is going to look like going forward. So yeah, I sent you the rubric for the DBQ, and I also sent you. Well, I actually sent you two rubrics. The one came from Tom Ritchie, of course, and the other was one that I got from some of the reading about this new DBQ rubric. 10 points. There is so much information. I mean, I was tempted to just flood you, to just overwhelm you with all this information. And if I did that, I also feel like a number of you would be overwhelmed. Oh no, don't be overwhelmed. Let's eat the elephant one bite at a time. Let's begin by looking at the new rubric, which we're going to do. Let's begin by talking about the Renaissance again, very briefly, and cover a little bit every day. And the cool thing about these YouTube videos is that once I post them, they're there in perpetuity. Not that I'm sure that lots of people would like to come back and listen to me talk and talk again. But I mean, basically what I wanted to cover this morning was where we are going from here until May 13th. So big thing. One, you don't want to take this test. You don't have to take this test. You can get your money back. Let me know. Two, you have a review test, whether you're taking the AP exam or not. You're still a member of this class, and we have a review test Friday. Can you study for that review test? I don't know. And that going forward on Fridays, we're going to have more review tests. You need to get ready for informationally for this AP exam. Number 3, the rubric has been changed on us. Test begins May 13th. Log in at 3:30. Test begins at 4 o'clock. You'll have 45 minutes to write this test. You can either type it on your device, or you can write it and then take a picture of what you've written and submit it as a photo to the college board. You know, just make sure you get all of it in the photo. And so the rubric is that it's a 1-question, 10-point DBQ. What will the scoring scale be? Well, I didn't preach on that a minute ago. Once again, nobody knows. Obviously, a 10 would be if you get all 10 of the 10 points of rubrics, you would get a 5, a perfect score, obviously. But in all probability, if you got a 9, it would also be a 5. And to be honest, there's a good chance if you could get an 8, you would get between a 4 and a 5. I think you could then be safe with a 6, 7, or 8 as a 4. 7 or 8 for sure. And I think 5 is probably a safe score for getting a 3. And is this written anywhere in stone? No. Would I make bets on it? No. But it's only logical. It is logical. But like I said, right now, even the college board doesn't know how it's going to shake down. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of 10s out there. Very unlikely. And so we're going to talk about this as we go on. And so I'm going to move on now, go to my next class. And I will be coming back to you a little later on, tomorrow, obviously. And when we'll begin actually talking about some of the things. I'm going to send you later, put on Canvas, the Tom Ritchie video where he talks about the format for the DBQ. I mean, but it's an hour long. And the first part is Tom Ritchie being Tom Ritchie. But, you know, after about 5 or so minutes, he actually starts breaking it down. And so, yeah, it's helpful to look at it. I miss you guys. And I wish I could say, hey, are there any questions? And I guess you can email me questions. But, yeah. All right. And so I'm going to step back for now. But trust me, I will be back. We have a month. Stay safe. Please keep washing your hands. Goodbye for now.